Hello, Lock 22 Nation. We're back with the show that does no preparation, that has no research. We
Speak for yourself.
just talk about what we witnessed in baseball for the week. Um, Interesting week, Ben. We always start with any news that we have. And what's cool about this show is that I can tell you, Ben, that I saw that Ty France won Player of the Week this last
Yeah,
week
it,
and
it
not have
hasn't
to tell
mattered.
you who won the National League because it doesn't matter. I saw that. What did he do that was so special?
He had a couple of good games. I mean, every game that he played well, we still were losing most of them. He played well the whole week. But
He's
the
a good
problem
player,
isn't
dude.
the problem isn't that we don't have good players. The problem is the we can't put it all together at once. Either we're hitting well or we're pitching well. We can't do both.
Dude, what I want to know though is do you know who Seattle's first baseman has been for the most of this
Not off the
week?
not off the top of my head.
Rowdy Tellez.
Isn't he like 40?
I have no idea, but I can tell you that his batting average was at one point this week 0.50.
I'm so sorry to Rowdy. He's 30, but it feels like he's been around forever.
Rowdy Tellez is our first baseman. Why did we let Ty France go?
Because Ty France went into free agency thinking he could get a lot of money, and then he
No,
didn't
no,
get a
no,
lot of money.
no. I think we made a mistake, big time. Because when Rowdy Tellez is not playing there, it's Luke Rayleigh or some guy named Solano. I'm not.
Hey, I like Donovan Solano.
He's not Ty France.
I actually think Solano's better than France in any week except this one.
Well, I would challenge that.
Ty France is mashing right now, but that's not going to last.
How do you know? He played in
Because if it
Seattle, which
does,
is
we're
the
going to
pitcher's
trade him.
park.
Because if he does, we're going to trade him.
Well, wouldn't that benefit you either way?
No, because our front office is stupid.
All right. I don't I don't want to everybody's already turned this off because they care not about Ty France, nor the Twin, nor the Mariners. So, for the just for me rewatching later as I edit, we'll go ahead and move. I don't have any other news. Do you have any other news? I think you said you did.
Mine is twin specific. I'll wait.
All right. Well, wait till we get to the AL Central, which should be pretty darn quick. So let's start where we always start in the NL West, where we
Um,
both had the Dodgers.
can I talk about the Rockies?
You can, yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, folks. I have watched a combined about 18 innings of Rockies baseball this year. I don't think I want to watch anymore.
Why did you watch 18 innings of Rockies baseball?
Well, because, I'm a night owl and they're on at weird times most of the time here in the Midwest. So,
They're on right now, as a matter of fact.
my point exactly. And they're they're awful, Damon. They're like unwatchably bad. Like they're not even fun bad.
I I mean, isn't their ballpark fun enough?
If you like watching a team suffer, yeah, it's great.
But don't other teams go there to mash? I mean,
Yes. I think the Twins play this year. There this year. I cannot wait.
so you will be watching more Rockies baseball.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, I think I will.
You don't lie to our viewer.
I didn't remember that
That's
until
not
just now.
cool. All right, so dude, San Diego's out in charge. After a 9 and
Right now,
start, after a 9 and 0 start, the Dodgers are in third place. Do you like
I
realistically,
put nothing into this.
You
Nothing.
you think that there's nothing to worry about? They're gonna mash
They're
everybody. Of
fine. They're fine.
course they're fine. But I want to point out that the Diamondbacks are only 2 games or a game and a half behind them.
I want to point out there's 4 good teams in that division.
There are, and they're
The
all within
Padres are
four
going to
games of
start
each other.
the Padres are going to start losing games because I actually think they're the third best team in the division. The Giants will almost certainly fall apart somewhere.
Dude, San Diego's winning at an 82% clip right now.
Yes, I've seen this before. This is what we call a mirage.
All right. Well, the Dodgers went 9-0, right? And we at that point we were saying, man, are they going to challenge the 116? Now they're at 66.7%. Two out of every
I
three.
told I told you they weren't. I thought it'd get closer than it probably will, but I didn't think they were going to get that close. Anyway,
Things to
NL
be
Central.
mindful of. Things to be mindful of here, Ben. And this is why we're looking at this early on because while the Dodgers are in third place and only 2.5 games out of first place behind San Diego, the run differentials, bro. The Dodgers are a +2. The Padres are plus 36.
Do
They're
they?
absolutely mashing.
I don't know if you have it pulled up. Do they have any common opponents so far this year? Have
I
they
don't, I mean, I
directly?
don't, I'm sure that maybe one or two. I don't know. I really honestly don't know that.
Because I would be interested in record between common opponents.
But I do know that the Cubs uh have the biggest
Also suck.
differential. What's that?
They also suck.
Ben, they have the biggest differential in Major League Baseball right now.
I don't care. Have you
37
watched this team
plus
play?
plus 37. They're 11-8. They're leading their division by a game.
Have you watched them?
Yes.
They're fun. I'll give them
Dude,
that. They're fun to watch.
they beat okay. I don't understand why you have the dicks of all of the Dodgers in your mouth right now. And then you
I
watch
don't.
earlier this week, you watched the Cubs beat them in Dodger Stadium 16 to
Yeah.
nothing. What are you talking
That
about?
I laughed really hard when that happened.
Then what? I mean, they suck. You
Well,
suck,
yeah.
Dodger Dick. That's what I
I
say.
actually I hate the Dodgers. I just think they're inevitable.
Okay, I look, I kind of agree with you that it's inevitable, but I'm looking at right now. I'm living in the now. You're living in the
In the realistic future
the ethos of the future, which may or may not
is
come to pass. We don't know.
I'm pretty sure. I'm like 99% sure.
Pretty sure. You know what really pisses me off is that you were fucking right last year, and I can't just absolutely mash you into the ground right now. That's what makes me
You
mad.
can't. I'm usually right about these things,
You're
Damon.
like
This is
you're
the
like
problem.
this is like the rabbit and the hare. Like I'm the turtle and I'm like almost at the finish line. And bro, you're like not even tying your shoes for the race yet.
Well, see, Damon, your problem is I'm usually right.
Well, we'll see. I'm gonna mash you by the end of this. Dodgers are not winning the World Series this year. Bank.
Yes, they are. Yes, they
Bank.
are.
Bank. All right,
You're
let's
insane.
move on. We know that the Rockies are terrible, and the rest of the division, well, you seem to think is already decided. Despite this, if this trend continues, Ben, plus
It
36
won't.
for San Diego and +2 only for the Dodgers, what's going on with their pitching? Because here's the deal. That's where the difference is. San Diego's pitching has been dominant, and I mean they're pretty close hitting wise. The Padres still have produced more runs than the Dodgers, but the pitching is where the that 36 that cannot sustain.
Can I tell you the Padres
Is
schedule so
Otani
far?
coming back to pitch this season?
Who knows?
When?
June, supposedly. That's what I heard.
Will it matter? Will he be good?
I don't know.
Will he get hurt
Also,
again?
so far the Padres have played the Braves for 4 games, who are awful.
True.
The Guardians, who have not played well. I don't think they're awful, but they certainly have not played their best baseball.
Okay.
They played them for 3 games. Then they played the Cubs for 3 games. Cubs were on a hot streak. They still are. So Cubs won 2 out of 3 there. They played the A's for three
Okay.
games, and they played the Rockies for 3 games, and they're in their second series with the Cubs right now.
Okay. So
They're beating
that's
up on bad teams.
yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm saying I kind of wish that those are the teams that we played against, but whatever. Let's move on. Let's move on to the wait, do we do yeah, we do it. Now we have to move to the AL West.
No, it's the NL East.
No, because we go West, West, Central, Central, East, East.
That's not what we were doing, but okay.
Well, that's how we started out. We probably fucked it up last week. But that's
I don't
okay
know.
because no one's watching and no one cares. So I'm resetting the metric till we go West, West, Central, Central, East, East. All right.
Okay.
All right.
I,
And I'm not apologizing to anybody who that's an inconvenience for because I don't care.
okay.
All right. Here we here we go. We are looking at the AL West now. The Texas Rangers are just above 500, 50%, 58% wins, and they're leading the division. And the Mariners basically spent this week mashing on the division. They swept, yeah, that's right. They swept Texas, which this sucks. We're still two games back after a 3 game sweep. That's how bad we started the season, Ben. And we took 2 out of 3 from Houston.
Hey,
Um,
you recovered. You
won
recovered.
all three. But I want to make a point on run differential here. Every single team in the AL West has a negative run differential.
Is that division bad?
And check
Is it
this out,
possible?
Ben. The team that's leading the division, the Texas Rangers run differential is minus 15. The team in last place in the AL West is the Athletics with a run differential of minus 15. They're the same.
Is it possible you're in a bad division?
Dude, yeah. I mean, it's not possible. It is reality. This is
I
not a
don't think
good
the
division.
I don't know if you've watched the Astros at all. I don't think they're very good.
Yeah, I watched them play 3 games in Seattle and they were putts. Dude, they have Altuve in left field.
I don't know what that's about.
He has a noodle dick and a noodle arm out in left field. And you know
Well,
what?
yeah.
Let him rot out there. Let him rot the rest of his cheating ass career out in left field.
What if he came to the Mariners and played second base?
If he came to the Mariners, I would hang up all my Mariners gear, at least for a couple years. Dude, that would never happen. That's the place that he gets booed no matter what he does. No matter what he does, he gets booed. And it will
Well,
always be that way. Fuck Jose Altuve. Let's just say that. All right. So then you got middling, dude. The Angels. Why are the Angels good? Oh, let's go ahead and lose the best player in the game, and all of a sudden decide Mike Trout wants to play an entire season.
it's been like 10, 15, 20 games
Yeah,
since
he's
we're in
still
that
gonna
game.
die at some point. He's gonna die on the field at some point. Dude, did you see what happened this week? The fan
No,
interference play.
there
He's
was a
in
couple
right
of them with
field first of all. Mike Trout in right field. Why? He's getting a foul ball and he goes over and he makes the play. He catches the ball in foul territory, his glove over the wall in foul territory, and the dude takes the ball out of his hand. An Astros fan takes the ball out of his hand, and Mike Trout looks at him. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" The guy's like, Oh, I'm sorry. He hands the ball back to, and so they have to have this huge discussion about what was it fan interference? They're like, no. Mike Trout caught the ball and the fan just said, I want that and took it. And guess what Mike Trout did? Dude, this is why I will never, ever be a hater of Mike Trout. Of course, he dies in the middle of every season, but that's just uh I don't know. He plays like a hero. I don't know. Whatever it
If
is,
you were to play in Major League Baseball, how long would you
I would
survive?
be dead already, dude. I would be dead on my first run to first base. I would have collapsed and they would have been like career over. Nice try, fatty. But that's not the point. The point is this is Mike fucking Trout. He meets with the Astros fans after the game and tells them he's sorry that they got moved out of their seats.
I love Mike Trout.
Signs the kid's ball. He's like, thank you guys for apologizing. He's like, it's just one of those things. I was hoping that you didn't get kicked out. He's like, no, they just moved us. So what a guy, dude. Mike Trout's the man, dude. I would
He is.
love to not really necessarily have to pay his contract because the man hardly works. But when he's at work, my God.
Is he working hard?
Yeah, so they're 9-7. Houston's middling, Seattle's middling. It's going to be interesting. Who's going to come out of there with a run differential in the positive?
The A's are terrible. I know their record's fine, but they're not going to be hanging around long.
Yeah, I mean, who did you say just now?
The Athletics.
The Athletics. Well, let's look at their story, Ben. Their story is the reason that they suck is their pitching because they've scored more,
Actually,
10 more runs. They've scored more runs than anyone in our division. But
actually,
unfortunately,
the reason they suck is their owner
they're,
sucks.
well,
So
every owner in that division sucks. If you have Otani and you can't just say, all right, we're going to keep you forever and ever and ever, you suck. Texas, I mean, if the guy's from Texas, he probably sucks. Houston, same thing, sucks. Mariners owner is a piece of shit. The biggest fucking profitable team in Major League Baseball, and you won't even spend any of that money.
how much are you wishing Nintendo would just buy the team back?
Dude, Nintendo, please, I'm pleading to you. Don't just be a patch on our arms for this season. Be a heart light for these fans that deserve, for these players on the team that deserve better.
By the way, Nintendo used to own the team, like a majority chunk, I'm pretty sure.
Yes,
They they sold it. They still own a minority stake. They were pumping money into the team. To my knowledge, they still are.
dude, it's John
Where's that money
Stanton.
going?
John Stanton's the holdup. Most profitable team in baseball, and you can't put a quality product on the field. Eat my ass. All right, let's go to let's go to the yeah, NL Central now. The Cubbies. The Cubbies are leading by one game 3 weeks into the season. What's it mean?
Nothing. This team is not good.
37 plus 37, Ben. The biggest run differential in all of baseball. They've scored 120 runs this year. You know how many other teams have crossed the 100 mark? Just only the Yankees. And they're
Do you
still
know who else?
18 runs behind.
Do you
The
know who
Cubs
on
are
the Cubs gets
mashing.
hurt all? Do you know who gets hurt all the time on the Cubs that's helping them a lot right now? Kyle Tucker.
Kyle Tucker's good.
He is, but he doesn't stay healthy.
Well, he's Mike. I mean, Mike Trout doesn't stay healthy, but look what happens when these guys are actually in the game, right? All right, so you got Cincinnati, who's Seattle's playing now. They won today to go above 500. The Brewers, what are they? What are they? They are the fucking definition of mediocre.
They're also hard to watch, if it makes you feel any better.
Why are they hard to watch?
There's just something about them. Like you look at their players and you think, oh, that guy's good, and that guy's good. What are they doing?
Dude, was Christian Yelich not at one point like the next Mike Trout?
Christian Yelich at one point was the best player in the league.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. What happened? And what about Jackson Cheerios?
Again, they have this talent, but they don't know what they're doing with it. So they're just weird. They're
I don't know.
baffling.
I can't name a single pitcher on their team, so dude, the Pirates, they Paul Skeens and who? Nobody. 6-12, that's not good. Are they
Their
gonna
hope
trade?
was
What?
their hope was Paul Skeens plus stuff would be enough. Paul Skeens plus stuff is not enough, even in that awful division.
Dude, look at this though. When I'm looking at they're only 4.5 games back, but in those 4.5 games, they've only scored half as many runs as the Cubs, 60 to 120. But the run differential there is over 60. It's 61 between those two teams in the first 21 games.
Yeah, they're not playing well, man.
The Pirates need bats,
Desperately.
but their pitching,
Old,
I mean, yikes. Dude, can
old
you
Andrew McCutcheon isn't going to cut it anymore.
McCutcheon was a story like 6 years ago. I think this is probably a story that he came back, but to
It
who?
is
To who?
to Pittsburgh.
All right. AL Central, this is what you've been waiting for, my friend. You are 2 games better than the fucking White Sox.
Yeah.
Talk to me,
So
Haas. 33% wins,
for what's our run differential? I know it's awful. Just tell me.
minus 14.
Okay, that's better than I thought it was actually.
But the White
And we
Sox
did
minus 12, the Kansas City Royals minus 13, Detroit Tigers, whom you had dead on arrival, are plus 18.
who I also loathe.
They're
Anyway,
going to win the division, dude.
they might. This division's awful. They might. Anyway,
City doesn't look very good. They should be good, but
they're a team like Milwaukee where you look at that roster and you're like, how the fuck is this team not winning half their games?
yeah, but I can see like 3 or 4 guys on that team that are great. Like, don't tell me that the Brewers have a Bobby Witt Jr. style player because there's maybe 3 teams in the league that have a player of that caliber.
You're right about that. But here's the problem that this division has. The entire division's attendance is down dramatically. The
Okay,
entire division.
okay.
Kansas City's attendance is down, even though that team was supposed to be good. Detroit's attendance has been in the tank since Miguel Cabrera left,
That
even
was
in their
it.
playoff run last year.
Yeah, they did nothing though. I mean, to be fair.
And the straw that broke the camel's back and maybe set off some alarm sirens inside Target Field is this last week, not counting COVID impacted seasons, because let's not judge unfairly
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
The lowest announced attendance in the history of Target Field happened on Friday.
What?
No, sorry, it was yesterday. Why did
What?
that?
What was the
And Friday.
attendance?
Well, Friday was the record and it was like 12,000 something. And then they broke it again yesterday and it was down to 10,
10,000. How many does it hold?
40.
40. Well, my dad's going in 2 weeks, so he should have no problem finding a ticket.
No, no, you could probably get a Twins. You could probably get someone to pay you to go to a Twins game right now
Fair enough.
because if I only saw part of the game tonight because I was streaming, but and we won, but there was nobody there. There are people boycott. There's whole Twitter pages with tens of thousands of followers dedicated to boycotting attending Twins games until the Pohlads sell the team.
Dude, I wish that the Mariners had that. Honestly, that's one thing that's working in your favor, dude, because the people's voices matter. If you're not going to those, dude, if the Mariners somehow become the least profitable team in Major League Baseball as opposed to the most profitable team, do you think John Stanton's going to want any part of that? No, he's going to be like, "All right, I'm out." So let's do that. Let's fucking hit him in his nuts.
There was talk of boycotts for the Twins going back to the start of the season before the team was playing this badly.
All right, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
They're in fourth place right now. It's only 4.5 games back, but we're coming up on the end of April. If you're like 8, 10 games back, what realistically, I mean, that's April, right? Of course, there's plenty of time to catch up still because 10 games is really nothing. I mean, we've seen 13 games the Mariners gave up last year in like less than a month.
The Twins came back from down by 10 games at the All-Star break one
Do
year.
you have the power on this team to
No.
make a run like that? That's
Here's
what you have
here's
to
why
look.
I
That's
say
what you have
no.
to look at.
Let me lay out why I say no. First of all, nobody on this team gives a shit.
Whoa.
Nobody actually playing on the team right now gives a shit. There was one person who gave a shit. Do you know what happened to him? He got hurt. His name was Pablo Lopez.
How long's Pablo out?
Going to be a couple weeks, it sounds like, up to a month.
Well, Seattle lost our right fielder for the season. We lost our second baseman for the season. We still don't have George Kirby back in the rotation. We don't have Matt Brash.
How's Jorge Polanco at third base?
Polanco's hurt right now.
That's a surprise. No, it's not.
So, yeah, dude, we're running on fumes. We're playing
So can
rookie. Go ahead.
I I also want to address another thing. Ken Rosenthal, well-known reporter, put out a report today. And he does a report about once a month about managers on the hot seat. And he usually doesn't do one in April, but he did one this year. The number one manager on that list was Rocco Baldelli. And in this report today, Ken Rosenthal went into a lot of detail about what happened at the end of last season and what happened at the beginning of this season, stating that Baldelli took a firmer stance and it hasn't mattered. And that's true, stating that ownership, despite trying to sell the team, is considering its options just, what is it, 18 games into the season.
All right.
If you are considering in the sport of Major League Baseball, if you are considering firing your manager 18 games into the season, you should have done it last year.
That's a great point, dude.
Because if a report came out that the Mariners, who had a manager for, let's just say, 5 years, but it came out 18 games into his sixth season that they were considering firing him just 18 games in, would you not say, why the fuck didn't we do it last year then?
Yeah, I did say that last year when
If
they
we're
hired
considering
Scott
fire
Service.
when if you're considering firing a guy that quick, and granted, it has been historically bad for the Twins. But when you're considering firing a guy that quick, you should have just done it, gotten it over with last year. And I understand Derek Felvey, who's the team president, loves Rocco. I get it. But at some point, it's business is business. And Rocco's got to go because the team doesn't care anymore. Carlos Correa, I don't know if you've watched him at all. He doesn't look like he wants to be here at all. I don't blame him. Byron Buxton looks like he could ask for a trade tomorrow.
Oh, what would you guys do?
Pablo Lopez probably should ask for a trade. He won't, but he should. You remember that part of King Felix's career where he was so dominant and everybody thought he should ask for a trade, and he just didn't do it for a
Yeah,
long time?
dude. Well, Felix he's a unicorn. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
He
but everybody
was
started
never. I remember because the same thing happened to Damian Lillard with Portland, the Portland Trailblazers. He was like, "Yeah, I'm totally happy here. I never want to leave." And then Stephen A. Smith is like, "You're wasting your career, bro. You're never going to be anything if you don't get a title. You're never going to get a title in Portland." And then the next thing we see is he's like, I need to request a trade." And I'm just like, "You pussy. You let the media fucking batter you into doing something." And now he's miserable in Milwaukee. Dude, why would you go from Portland to Milwaukee? What the fuck? I know this is a baseball show, but seriously,
That
what
just
kind of
that was
like I want to win is that? I don't want to be in a small market anymore. Did you go to a smaller market? Perhaps you did. What the
if
hell?
not equally if not just equally sized.
I mean, that was just bad, dude. That was just bad. But here's the thing. As far as firing managers goes, dude, we fired Scott Service. I don't know if you remember this, but we had the division lead. We were in the lead by 13 games at one point,
Yeah,
and
I do. I remember that.
we lost that lead in the second half of the season. Unconscionable, man. So yeah, that guy
But
needs to get fired.
the Twins need to fire Rocco Baldelli. I think even you, as somebody who doesn't watch the team very much, you would say Rocco's probably got to go at this point.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I said Rocco needed to go 2 years. I said the year we won a playoff series, I said he needed to go because even then it was still like we barely got in and we won those 2 games against Toronto and we won 1 game against Houston. And then they, of course, stomped us into the ground for the other three.
Well,
But
Ben, why every Mariners and Twins fan don't watch the show is beyond me because we fucking have it figured out, all of it. So let's talk about. We're getting a note passed here.
you know,
They need to sell the team.
I don't know who wrote that, but you're absolutely right.
That can straight from Pops. The need
Straight
to
from,
sell the team.
they do need to sell the team.
There you go. Don't know if he's wiser than us, but he's definitely older.
Well,
All
he's
right, here
wiser
we
than
go.
you, that's for sure.
Here we go. Now we need to talk about the NL East, my brother. Atlanta
This
Braves are
division.
fucked. They're fucked.
Listen,
Fighting.
there's only 3 teams you can say their season's over right now. It's the Rockies, Braves, and Twins. Their season's over.
If you look at it, you can see a way out. But they haven't even won 30% of their games, dude. They're 5-12. They're disgusting looking. They're not even fun to watch. And this team was
Nope.
like what's happened here? This team was the creme de la creme 2 years ago. Like, do you remember when Freddie Freeman left? It was like a big deal. And then
Yeah.
they came out and were still really good without him.
Yeah.
And then he
They're
won.
just not good right now.
They're not good. They're not good. Nationals I don't even, what's that two? I can't name a single player on the Nationals.
Josh Bell.
Okay. Dude, Miami Marlins. I think I had them in last.
Well, they could still end up there.
No, not with the Braves.
I
Wait,
think
you
the
think the
Braves
Braves
will
climb out of the hole of last place?
I think the Braves finish in third.
Third.
I think they
Is
win like
Acuna
80
is
games.
Acuna back or is he coming back? What's the deal?
He's coming back.
Is he gonna make a difference?
I don't know. I would hope so for their sake.
I mean, they're not scoring runs, dude.
That's the big problem.
They're giving up runs. They're not scoring
That's another big
runs.
problem.
They got a differential of -15.
You know what team that's really good and really fun to watch though, Damon? The Phillies.
The Phillies are good.
And they're fun to watch.
Um, it's weird because they're neck and neck with the Mets. The Mets have a plus 21 differential, and Phillies only. Do you have a guess what the Phillies are?
The Phillies are 10-7.
They're plus three to a plus 21, which is with just a game between them.
The Mets also lost to the Twins tonight. I need to remind you of that.
Well, the Phillies have actually scored more runs than the Mets, but the
Yes,
Mets
Phillies just give
pitching
up a lot
staff,
of runs.
dude, the Mets pitching staff, bro. The Mets pitching staff is currently second best in all of baseball. Do you know who's first?
Oh, I'm
The
gonna guess
San
Seattle.
Diego Padres.
That doesn't surprise me when I looked at who they've played.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I think it's a battle between Philly and New York. We thought that
I agree.
we did have the Braves factoring in. I thought the Braves might actually win the division,
I
but
thought they were going to finish
damn,
third the
dude,
whole time.
they're fucking, they're like, you know, the turd that's been sitting out all winter long. The snow melts, and now it's just a fresh turd again.
It's just a turd.
It's a fresh turd to be stepped on all spring. Thank you, winter.
Damon, Damon, I have a question for you. What the hell happened to the Orioles?
The Orioles are going to be fine.
Are you sure
I'm sure.
that division
Dude,
they're going to beat they're going to beat the hell out of each other, all of
okay,
them.
but here's the thing. When they realize um that their offense is what's hurting right now, and I think they do have a couple players out. A couple of their ballers are out. When they start scoring runs again, watch out because their pitching staff is probably second or third in that division. So, and I mean, we're talking about a division that's anyone's at this point.
Well,
Three
they're
and a
going to
half
beat the
games,
hell out of each other.
3.5 games separate everybody. But dude, yeah, I'm not right now, just for some perspective, we've played 15 games and the Colorado Rockies are 10 and a half back. They're done. They're toast.
They're
Eliminado.
they're 16 games into the season and they are out.
They're out.
The
And
Twins have played 18 games and they're out.
I
The
mean,
White Sox are probably done.
the Twins are 4.5 at back.
Yeah, but they're going to fire Rocco Baldelli in a month.
Well, if they do, don't you think that would be a good thing
No,
and get
it's
a
this
new
team is too
manager?
far gone. Several players need to go.
But dude, that's what I'm saying. That's why you fire a manager when they've lost the clubhouse. You fire them and you get somebody in there that's, lights a
But
fire.
and my mom asked this question earlier. Who are they going to hire
I mean,
right now?
dude, short of like, I mean, he's too old for the game right now, but you need a Lou Piniella, man. Someone that's going to come
A
in there.
Jim Leland, a
Yeah,
Jim
that's going to
Leland,
come
a
in there
Lou
and
Piniella.
fuck some shit up and be like, this is unacceptable. Somebody that like commands respect. Like you don't hate that he's yelling at you, but like when he yells at you, it makes you like want to play better.
Yeah.
You're not just like, ah, fuck that guy. It makes you like actually go, God, I really don't want to let this guy down every day.
Well,
Right?
I had an idea, Joe Mauer as an interim manager. Try it out.
Dude, I mean, the catcher comes back to save the day. That's what Dan Wilson did. And well, he's currently doing for Seattle.
And to anybody who says, "Oh, he doesn't have any experience," neither did Rocco Baldelli.
Dude, here's the thing. If you're gonna hire a manager interim that's like been a Hall of Famer for not only your club, but like Hall of Fame in general, make it a catcher. They've seen everything. They do the work. They know it all. They've seen it all.
No, Joe's not going to yell or anything, but you don't want to piss him off either.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you don't want to let down his legacy either. You don't want to be like part of any of his failure.
Plus, if it's an interim thing and it goes poorly, nobody's going to judge him for it
Right. And he should say
because everybody's ready
that
to.
I'm just doing this because I don't want to be the manager. I'm doing this because the team needs to sort some things out. And I don't
Yeah,
expect
something
to be
like that.
back next year. But if he does well, obviously the door's open. I like that. I like that call.
Just someone who has respect automatically because Rocco doesn't.
Well, and that'll put butts in the seats too. I think. I like that
Maybe
idea, Ben.
if the fans aren't too far pissed off.
All right, so we got right at the top, Yankees and Blue Jays, half a game apart, same number of wins. Yankees, of course, have a bigger run differential by 21,
We
but
told you the Blue Jays would be all right.
they're in plus two. They're in plus two. They give up about as many runs as they get. So they need to figure out how to score more, and they'll
Or
get some
pitch
more
better.
W's on the board. What's that?
Or pitch better.
I mean, dude, their pitching is, like I said, their run differential is two. So that means, to the 71 runs they've given up, they've scored 73. So if
I
they
don't
do
know.
either thing better,
I just
what it
I
is.
think the Red Sox will be fine. I think they'll finish fourth.
Fourth?
But they'll be fine. The Rays will probably end up in the bottom, and if you're right, the Orioles come back and probably finish third,
There's no
second or
way the
third.
Orioles stay in last place. They're too good of a
No,
team.
it's not.
They're too young of a
It's not
team.
going to happen. The Rays will end up down there. The Rays might win 80 games and end up down there. So
It's definitely the best division. I mean, it has to be because they don't have a Colorado. I'm sorry. Yes, Dodgers, San Francisco, Arizona, San Diego, you're all great teams, but you've got Colorado weighing you down. The AL East does not have a Colorado.
they used to. It used to be the Orioles.
Yeah, well, guess what? The time
Or
they are a changing.
Damon,
Wait,
you asked me a question last week.
yeah.
It was, do I still foresee a World Series rematch? I said yes. I also still see a World Series rematch. We're just on cruise control this whole season. It's on autopilot. Major League Baseball does not care. They are showing you what's going to happen.
When you say they're showing us what's gonna, what is that? That just sounds like stupid, something stupid that you wanted to say. What does that mean?
No, like it's obvious. Do
What's
you
obvious?
okay? What are the two biggest markets in Major League Baseball?
LA and New York.
Correct. The best thing we can hope for this year is a Subway Series World Series. That would be best case scenario. And that's if somehow the Dodgers just get
Dude,
injuries into
I'm over
infinity.
it. Nobody wants another Subway series.
Yeah, and I don't want to see Dodgers Yankees again.
You don't
I
see
don't
any
want
of
to see
these
this.
other teams as a threat,
No,
right? Dude, if I had to predict right now, well, yeah, if the playoffs started right now, I'm looking
are you
at,
telling me? Are you telling me that you're scared of the Cubs in the playoffs?
I'm telling you that the NLCS is San Diego versus Chicago, and I love that.
No, it's not.
I love that matchup.
That's
That'd be
not gonna
fun.
happen.
That'd be a fun series. And then
It- that might be the
ALCS. Shut your
NLDS
face. The ALCS would be the Tigers and the Yankees, which no one wants to see.
again. We saw that last year.
But would you not? I would go all in on the Yankees Padres World Series. That'd be fun.
It's the Yankees anymore. Fuck them. I hope their fucking stadium implodes.
That's a beautiful park, man. How could you say that? All right, let's look at, dude, seriously, the AL West has no teams with a positive run differential. Why?
The AL West also doesn't have a world title contender. Name one. The Rangers, maybe.
Dude, there's
Maybe.
two teams in this division that are in the last 5 years world champions.
Uh-huh. And one of them sucks now.
And you're telling me that neither of them have a chance?
You don't think the Astros are any better than I think they are.
I don't know. They came back from 13 games down last summer.
Yeah, the
It's
managers
fucking April, dude.
because the Mariners choked on their own shit.
Never wanted to punch you so hard as I do right
You
now.
said it yourself a half hour
I can
ago.
say it, you can't.
The Twins did the same thing.
This show sucks. If you're still watching this show, fuck you. Ben, let's be done.
Eh?
Let's be done. Um, Gentlemen, lady, thank you for watching the show.
Hey, poll lads, sell the team, please.
Yep, sell the teams, sell the teams. That's sell all the teams. Dude, you know what I just want to say this before we go. Do you want to know what the actual run differential for Colorado is?
Yes.
Negative 46.
You're kidding.
Dude, that's minus 82 from the first place team. In the first 18 games, they've scored 82 less runs than the San Diego Padres in 18 games. That is some fuckery right there. In fact,
They're dead.
shame on anybody that lost 3 games to the Rockies.
Wait, can we see who they lost to?
Yeah,
Hang
let's
on.
do that because the people want to actually don't care if you want to know. We're going to tell you. Who did they lose to?
Okay. The Rockies have beaten the Brewers
The Brewers
once,
once.
the A's once,
The A's
and oh my God, they beat Tampa.
in Tampa. Wow, shame on you.
Granted, it was one game and they got blown out in the other two games of each of those series,
I mean,
but
who cares? You lost. I mean, you found a way to lose to a team that has scored 40 runs in 18 games.
they're terrible.
Terrible. They're 1-9 in the last 10. I can't wait to watch this trend continue. God damn it, I love baseball. Ben, um, thank you for joining me this evening where I wasn't actually a force ghost because the sun's
Yeah, because
down.
we're recording this at 11 o'clock at night, jackass.
Well, I think there's a little bit of like I don't know, there's like a new bounce to the show now that we're a little bit later.
What are you on about?
I don't know, but it feels good to be in fourth place out of 5.
We're
I know
both in
that you
fourth.
feel the same way.
We're both in fourth.
Yeah, yeah, we are. All right, guys. I'm gonna get this up into the, I don't know, 20 people that may watch this. I seriously, I'm really not sorry, but I appreciate that you watched. Ben, I'm Dames Marvs for Ben Shrewsbury. This has been the show.